It is Wednesday, August 2nd, and the Give and Go Show is back in your life with yet another live episode. My name is Griffin Queen, and as always, I'm joined by Matt Ferentinos and Matt Modai. And as we introduced him last week, we are also joined by recent super producer Elliot Shiatani. You are not going to see his face on the screen unless, for some reason, he decides that he wants to be part of the video. We appreciate you joining us, whether you're joining us on YouTube, whether you're joining us on Twitter, or if you're listening to this after the fact on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Real quick, before we get going, wherever you're listening to us, make sure you click either the follow button or the subscribe button so that you can tune in for future episodes and so that you can interact with us on whatever platform you might prefer. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate and review if you enjoy the episode, preferably 5 stars. And then, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, very easy to find. We will have all of the details both in the show notes and on the screen, so you can find all of those different accounts. And that's kind of it. We're going to get into it. We are in the dog days of summer where there's really not that much basketball stuff going on. So we've got a few different things that we're going to talk about. This is probably not going to be our longest episode by far. We want to talk about the FIBA World Cup coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to talk about something that I had mentioned last week, which I think was a suggestion from Modai on Banchero versus Mobley. And I actually have some questions about that one once we get into it. We're going to do an immaculate grid at the end of the episode. Elliot's going to host that for us, and we're going to see how good we can do. And then, we'll talk about some random stuff like anime and Marvel superheroes, which we might as well start with, right, guys? I feel like that's probably the right choice.
You got to start with the nerd stuff.
Yeah.
Whose idea was it? Someone had a topic that I think it was Elliot.
Have you guys been nerding? I mean, I know Elliot's topic was like the superhero fatigue, but I could talk about like anime all day. Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 has been incredible.
Sure. Wow, he's just getting right into it. Okay, there we go.
I mean, I just highly recommend for those of you. Whoa, Loki loves Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. He has real big thoughts about it. But the first 4 episodes are out. They drop every Thursday. So for those of you who are watching right now, tomorrow, about to catch the new episode, they're going to take a break after that and get into the Shibuya arc. But yeah, these like 4 episodes combined might be some of like the best just run of episodes in the anime. Mappa kills it again. That's the Ferentino's Corner. Jujutsu Kaisen. Definitely check it out. Streaming on Crunchyroll. If you comment right now, I'll give you my login for Crunchyroll. So
What are you talking about? It's my login.
I'll give you Griffin's login.
You have one as well, but I have a special Give and Go Show login. There you go.
Do you? Or is it? Are you sure? Because I use the password for that account for a lot of different things. So let's probably not give that one out. Get into my bank account way too easily. I don't know why I'm saying this on the pod. Now you guys are going to do it. I'm not caught up. I only watched episode 1 of the newest season. I think we had talked a little bit about before the season started. I had thought it was only going to be 2 or 3 episodes of this kind of prequel arc. Is it 4 or 5? Is that correct?
It's going to be 5. Yep.
5. Okay. Episodes. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm obviously the animation's incredible. The show is incredible. I can't wait to catch up. I'm going to let them build up until all of the prequel episodes are dubbed, and then I'm going to get into it. Modai, are you a Jujutsu Kaisen guy?
I've seen the first season. I was actually there's this. I was in downtown Denver at the Rockies game, and there's this really cool store called Rocket Fizz. I don't know if it's like a chain or not, but they have like a lot of like old school candy and stuff, and like a lot of just like I can't think of the word, but
just looking at Griffin's face.
There's a
renowned candy guy, like known for my love of candy.
Well, no, it's like the old candy that you saw like in the movie theaters when you were in like elementary school, and like a lot of like novelty was the word I was thinking of, like novelty random stuff, like nothing super mainstream. But they had, long story short, a energy drink that was Jujutsu Kaisen themed, and I thought about getting it because I have recently started a collection of nerd themed energy drinks. I have Naruto and Ted Lasso, but I'm not a big enough Jujutsu Kaisen fan, so I would have felt like a poser. But I have seen the first season, which I know that level of detail was what you're hoping for when you asked me the question. So that is my answer.
I mean,
100% what we were looking for.
It's about to be on Fortnite August 8th. I know I plugged Fortnite a good amount here, but doing it again.
What is?
It's honestly incredible how much you plug stuff more than you plug the Give and Go show. Like, I don't think Crunchyroll needs more subscribers. You know who needs more subscribers? The Give and Go show.
It's the orange.
Our
marketing team is doing great. You know, it makes me think Crunchyroll too. Great things. Crossover, anime, basketball.
What I would do for a marketing team at Elliot. Yeah, okay. So anime. One of you was also watching something new. I think it might have been Elliot.
I think it was
Elliot. If you want to jump in for a couple minutes, you're more than welcome to do so. If you want to talk about, there's some new show that I know you're watching. There he is, super producer on the screen, Elliot Shiatani, and his.
What's up, guys? Yeah, I need to talk about
heavy room.
Yeah. Yeah, I started watching a show called Heavenly Delusion, and I've been obsessed with it. I'm like halfway through. I think there's only one season.
That sounds like the mind of Kevin Durant.
I was going to say Heavenly Delusion. Is it about Donald Trump?
I don't have a witty remark like you guys do.
The first thing I thought it was Heavenly Delusional. I was like, well, that screams.
Or Eric Cartman, I guess.
Yeah, but it's about these
They're
two
the same
people.
person. Let's be clear. Eric Cartman and Donald Trump are 1,000,000% the same person.
Except one's a caricature of.
Yeah, one you're not supposed to be rooting.
And the other's Eric Cartman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elliot. By all means, please tell us about Heavenly Delusion.
I mean, so you've got these two characters who are like wandering around like a post-apocalyptic Japan, and like they're sort of just having a great time with it. Like it's really weird because the show like should be dark, but the two characters are just like having a blast the whole time. They're like super goofy, and like they're sometimes in moral peril, so they'll get like a little bit serious, but then immediately afterwards they're just like joking around again. And it's like the way the two of them play off each other is just really great. And the animation style is really interesting. It's like very simplistic for the most part, but then like so there's like monsters in the post-apocalyptic world, and they're like very detailed. So it's a little bit like Smiling Friends. Have you guys seen that?
Smiling Friends.
Also,
it sounds like something that you just made up. Is that a real? I mean, no, like normally I'm like pretty on top of anime. I've never heard of Smiling Friends.
Well, that's not an anime. It's just an animated show. You guys need to watch that too. That's insanely good. It's super short. The episodes are like 8 minutes long, but it's really, really good. But anyway, okay. So like it's parts of it are very, like the character models are very simplistic, but the actual animation is really good.
I've seen this before, Elliot. I'm looking up some Smiling Friends.
It's good clippable stuff.
Charlie dies and doesn't come back. That sounds like a good episode.
I love post-apocalyptic. Wow, I can't talk. I'm not even going to try to say it again because now I'm too embarrassed at this point. But I love that.
You love post-apocalyptic. I can't say it now either. You've ruined me. You've broken my brain.
Apocalyptic.
There you go. Well,
there it is. Don't say post first, because post is what's fucking it up.
Was that nuclear?
It's like toy boat.
Like it's you don't know why like everything's all destroyed, but like there's still lots of people. It's sort of like Last of Us. Like there's like pockets of civilization where like people are kind of just living their normal lives. Like the two main characters grew up in this world, so they're not like scarred by it. They're just like, this is just normal.
That's just
but there's like lots of like mysteries going on, and there's like also a parallel story that like it reminds me a little bit about there's like kids in a school and there's like weird stuff going on that they don't understand, but you as the omniscient audience understands. What's the other anime like that?
Promise Neverland.
Yeah, Promise Neverland. It's a little bit like that. There's like kids in a school, and you're like the two stories at least halfway through have not crossed over at all. And like sometimes they'll go a whole episode without seeing the school, but definitely real good. Highly recommend it to you guys.
What's it on?
And then also, I now have to recommend Smiling Friends. I don't know how none of you guys have seen that. That needs to be like priority one.
Yeah, no.
Wait, what's the Heavenly
is this
Delusion
on? Is this on Crunchyroll?
Heavenly Delusion's on Hulu.
Nice.
Smiling Friends is on Max.
Max, yeah, not
that
HBO.
works out great because I have Elliot's Hulu account and I have someone else's Max account. So that's kind of two big wins for me.
Let me finish it first because I don't want you messing up my placing.
Sure, that's fair.
All
right, Elliot, get off our screen. We're going to talk about basketball.
Last question.
Sorry, one more question.
Last question. Is it still going or is it finished?
I believe it is ongoing.
Okay.
I don't.
So then you're not going to watch it, right, Moda? You wait for things to be done.
I try to wait for things to finish, but I mean, I started Jujutsu Kaisen because it was just everybody recommended it, like so many different groups of people. So that when I started, so I'll think about Heavenly Delusion.
Okay. Good.
All right. That was good. That was fun. Speaking of anime, I am wearing my Full Metal Alchemist
Full Metal shirt.
jersey.
Let's go.
Recommended by Griffin Queen, who sent me the link to this.
It was okay. All right. I was like, I'm pretty sure I recognize this from like Instagram ads that I get. I wasn't sure if you'd actually ordered one or not. I gotta remember to order one because there were a couple that I really thought were pretty cool looking. Is it worthwhile? Is it good?
It's a nice jersey. I like it. I do like it. It's comfortable. I feel like you instantly don't actually look cooler, but you feel cooler when you're wearing a baseball jersey. So confidence is at a sky high.
Yeah, baseball jerseys are all-time fashion statements. 100%.
Yeah, hockey jerseys and baseball jerseys, I feel like are like
hockey,
two underrated jerseys.
I can't pull off a hockey jersey. I don't attempt to. But baseball, I have a Bryce Harper one right next to me. But
I can't either. Oddly, I don't know if that's weird or not. But like, my limbs look like weirdly stunted in hockey jerseys.
You're too tall.
I look like I'm just always like swimming in them. I don't know.
We can make hockey jerseys look good.
You're too tall, Griffin. I don't think they're proportions.
I honestly think hockey jerseys are great on small
short
men.
Kings.
And on tall men, we just look kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to talk about some basketball? Or you want to talk about some other shit? What do you want to talk about?
Talk about basketball.
Let's
talk about basketball. All right. So we had said at the beginning of the show that we were going to talk about the FIBA World Cup coming up in a couple of weeks. I think it starts at the end of August, if I remember correctly. I think last week of August 25th. A lot of talented players that are going to be taking part in the FIBA World Cup. We're not going to talk about it too much before it gets going. We will definitely react to it as it's going on. However, just kind of wanted to run down a couple of the really good teams outside of the U.S. because there are some kind of stacked teams that are going to be taking part, and then some teams that I would not describe as stacked, but who have good enough players that they could be successful. And then there's obviously, I got to say it, there's some dog shit teams. Like, there's some that are probably not going to go super deep.
Hey.
We're not going to talk about the U.S. Go ahead, Fantinos.
Just going to say Angola's my sleeper, man. You never know.
Are they your sleeper? Okay, well, I don't think things are going to go that well. I don't think they've announced their roster, but things maybe we could play for Angola. I was
going to say, are there any of these countries that we can fly to maybe give a quick tryout before? Possibly.
Where is Angola?
I don't know. It's got a sickle as like the flag. So
I have a guess, but I don't want.
A European country? Is it a South American country?
Are you asking because you don't know, or are you asking to see if he knows? Because I know the answer.
I do not know. I have no idea.
It's Africa. I know. It's the West.
It's Africa, of course. Why wouldn't it have been Africa? All right. Yeah, I had no idea. We should edit this out.
I'll find out. You gotta try out. Who knows?
Yeah. I've flown to Africa for a couple days before. This would not be the first time I've flown to Africa for a very short term trip.
To meet up with your significant other, right? I don't know if
she's not in Africa anymore, but yeah. That is why I flew out there initially. Yeah, I flew to. I don't know if you know this story, Modai. Julia, right when we started dating, we'd been dating for about 3 weeks. She moved to Africa for, I don't know if moved is the right word, but she went to Africa for about 4 months. She went to Dar es Salaam, and at the end of her trip, I went out there to spend a couple days with her and like help her, pack her stuff up and come home. And I brought a bunch of like charitable donations to these schools that she was working with. And it was very, very cool. The worst part about it, however, was that I only went for about 65 or so hours, which is just an absurdly short amount of time to fly to
Africa and back.
another continent.
Yeah.
So I actually spent about as much time flying there as I did in Africa. Not my best, not my smartest thing I've ever done.
Well, it sounds cool. Did you like were able to actually do shit when you were there?
A little bit, you know, we went to some stuff. We kind of hung out a little bit. Elliot just asked me in the chat if it was worth it. Julie and I are getting married now, so I would say it was probably worth it. I mean, it's something I can always tell people about what a good significant other I am, that I flew to a different continent for a weekend. But in reality, was it worth it? Probably not. I would have much rather gone for 2 weeks. Beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful people, great food, wonderful time. Just 2 days is not enough time to go to a different country. Yeah, it's just not. So back to
to FIBA. I was just saying. I mean, 2 of the top 3 players in the NBA are playing in Jokic and Giannis. So, I mean, I feel like those 2 teams, right?
I thought Jokic was not playing. No, Jokic is not playing.
He's not going to play?
I don't believe so. I think that – so I could be wrong about this, but I thought that they had announced that because he had a lot of, like, lingering injuries and stuff between the season that he was not going to be taken. I know Jovic is playing, but I don't think Jokic is playing.
I see stuff about Giannis and Jokic. That's just
Jokic is not. As of a week ago, Jokic is not playing.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember it popping up on Twitter because they were talking about how essentially he hides his injuries so well that nobody knows what's actually bothering him. But he apparently accrued a lot of like little things over the course of the season, which everyone does during a championship run. And, you know, he's coming off of, prior to the championship run, 2 back-to-back MVP years. Probably makes a little bit of sense for the guy to take a break.
Yeah, Luka's playing. I saw him cook someone on Twitter. I forget who they were playing. I saw him drop someone and then stare him down.
Yeah, you know, I had it in my notes that of the 3 top players last season, Giannis is playing, Jokic is coming off a championship. What's Embiid doing? Like, what's going on with him? Is he recovering from other injuries? He
got married
on Twitter.
He got married last week. He is taking.
Guys get married every day.
Well, guys will get married and then play FIBA every day.
That's true.
I don't think Embiid's ever played internationally before. I think he said he would play for the French team, even though like I don't really know. Like he's African.
He's Cameroonian, right?
Yeah, and then he moved to the U.S. I don't really know where the French thing comes in, but I know that he's eligible to play.
They were a French colony, weren't they? I think he might either have dual citizenship or just because of the way the country was.
It might be cool. It might be dual. You might be right.
Can.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever played internationally before, to my knowledge. I think like a lot of people want him to play for the U.S. just to just do the whole thing where you just schmooze the other incredibly talented players in the NBA to like possibly team up. Like, I'm not saying he's going to form a Miami Heat, the Heatles, but maybe get someone to like you. It doesn't seem like he does that. I think he's too worried about getting hurt in the offseason. Like he always starts. He's like Luka for a different reason, like starts the season out of shape and like basically works himself into shape during the season. Luka still plays. So his excuse is he's probably just cheap at SIGs, whereas Embiid just doesn't want to get hurt.
Hookah Doncic.
Well, that was always Shaq's thing too. Shaq always came, not always, but once he got to the Lakers, essentially he came into seasons out of shape because he was like, I got to carry around 350 pounds every single day. Like, I'm not doing off-season shit. Yeah, and to his credit, he always played himself into shape.
Yeah, and didn't Kobe hate that about him though? Wasn't Kobe always pissed that he would show up out of shape?
Yeah, it was one of the big arguments between the two of them. But Kobe was 6'6", 210. And Shaq was 7'1", 300 pounds, like whatever he was.
Yeah, his body.
It's a little bit easier for Kobe to stay in shape than it is for Shaq to stay in shape. And Shaq's older than Kobe. Like, I agree with Kobe when it comes to a lot of things about that relationship and the way that things broke apart. Like, I'm on his side even when I probably shouldn't be for that Lakers like end period. But that's absolutely an instance where Shaq is in the right because he maintained his championship pedigree for additional years by not doing all that offseason shit.
Yeah, he never sucked. And to my knowledge, he never like missed a playoff run. Like he never had a serious injury for like a playoff run. At least not in that heyday with the Lakers. So yeah,
he was an Iron Man, and he didn't get the credit he probably deserved for being an Iron. And even playing his career as long as he did, he was an Iron Man. But you know, we can have a whole discussion about Shaq and Kobe at a later point.
Maybe we'll do that on August 24th on Kobe Day.
That is, I think we have one on the 23rd, but I don't think we have one on the 24th. That's
and
okay.
I'll be
That's
in
close
Alaska.
enough.
So, yeah.
Oh, well, then we will do it without you.
You can do it without me.
We'll have Elliot fill in for you. It's going to be a lesser experience. Hope he's listening. If he's not, that's a problem. But yeah, so
clip
as
that,
it relates to FIBA,
that.
There's definitely some stacked teams. Canada stacked, the USA stacked, Australia stacked. I was saying before we got going, I don't think Spain is what they used to be. The Gasol brothers and a bunch of those guys from like that previous magical generation of players have all retired. Argentina, a lot of those guys have retired.
Is Ricky Rubio going to play? Is he healthy?
I think he's healthy. I don't know if he's going to play. I think he is.
DM said he's on the roster.
Yeah, I think he's. I think he's there. I don't know. I mean, he's had 3 injuries in his past 4 years.
It's just been
but this might be his last
yeah.
chance. I mean, Rubio, despite being the dude who started his pro career at 15, he's finally getting up there in age.
He's just been hurt like his ACL. Yeah, so I was looking up the odds to win. U.S. is obviously the favorite. They're the heavy favorite. But Serbia is second. Greece is third. Slovenia is fourth. Then it goes France, Australia, Spain, and then Canada. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like the betting odds, Canada is not one of the favorites.
That doesn't surprise me that much because Canada is pool. They're in Group H. They've got France and Latvia, and both of them are relatively talented teams. They could have tough outs for the early rounds. They've also got Lebanon, who's got nobody on it, and they're going to beat them like by 50 points,
by 100.
But
yeah.
it's one of the harder pools to deal with.
Gotcha.
Is Wemby playing?
Yeah, good question.
I think Wemby said he wasn't going to play.
I don't
he said he's going to focus on the NBA and on getting his body right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a discussion between him and the Spurs and the French national team. And I think, if I remember correctly, there was a little bit of friction about it. But he's not going to be playing. They want him ready. Obviously they only had him play a couple summer league games because they want him ready for the season. They don't want to have a Chet Holmgren or a Ben Simmons situation. So
yeah,
I
feel like there's no way he's not going to play 65 games, right? There's no way that he's going to hit the 65 game threshold. I just find what
if he does the Jaren Jackson thing and he plays 24 minutes a game and he just goes balls to the wall for 24 minutes? I could see
that would be dope.
Jaren Jackson does that because he can't stay out of foul trouble. Like, it's not because is it because of injury or is it because he's always just accumulates fouls?
See, that was my take on it.
It's
prior
the
to the playoffs, and then in the playoffs, I think he is willing to accumulate fouls like that, knowing that he's going to play less minutes than most guys at his position. Yeah. My perspective on it flipped a little bit after the playoffs because he was much more disciplined once the playoffs got there. And honestly, I think he was the best player on the court for the Grizzlies in 5 of 6 games, excuse me.
Yeah, he was nasty.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Do you have a prediction?
It'd be great if Wemby could play 70 games.
That would be cool. And if he doesn't have an actual injury, if it's just like lingering stuff, then he might. But I feel like if he like tweaks an ankle, even if it's not serious, they're going to shut him down for 2 weeks just because they're like, there's no use in them taking the chance his rookie year.
Sure. Yeah.
But anyways, do you have a non-US? If you had the guess on a non-US team to win, do you have one?
So if I were to, I like Canada, but I was saying this beforehand as well. Canada's super guard heavy. They've got a ton of talented guards, but they don't have a ton of like big man depth. So I don't think they're going to really thrive in this tournament in particular. Honestly, I like Germany.
Is Dirk playing?
I don't like Greece because they're in the same pool as the U.S. Dirk is not playing. That'd be fucking sick though. So I think Giannis is probably going to get eliminated pretty early.
Yeah.
Honestly, Slovenia might do well just by virtue of having Luka.
Luka. Yeah.
We've seen him before in these international games, and he does really, really well. And the group that he's in, he's got Cape Verde, Georgia, and Venezuela. Luka is like so far away from all these people in talent level that like if they just give him the ball and give him like a 50% usage rate, like if he just does everything, they're gonna win more games than they lose.
And it's not the state Georgia, right? The state Georgia might do pretty well.
I don't think it's the state Georgia. That'd be pretty crazy. I'd actually have to look up which NBA players are from Georgia. I mean, I'm sure there's a decent number of them that are actually straight up from there.
Anthony Edwards. Also,
that's a community for that.
Yeah. I lied. I was looking at an old article that was pre the Jokic news. So the U.S. is still the favorite, but then it goes Canada, Australia, France, Serbia, Slovenia. So
what did I say the top three was? So U.S., Canada,
yeah.
Australia.
So I gave incorrect information.
The one that you looked up probably was before they had determined like pool play, like who was playing who outside of the injuries.
Right. I think you're right. Yeah.
So I think that's likely what would have affected a lot of this. Obviously I'm rooting for the U.S. These are I feel like I have to. But it's always interesting to see other teams do well, and I would love for it to not be a top three of the U.S., Canada, and Australia. Like I would love to see some lesser known country in there. But like I said, we'll talk about that once FIBA actually gets here. We'll be doing reactions to the games. We'll be talking about performances that we like. We'll do all the stuff that we would do during the NBA season for FIBA once that's actually here. But with that, I think we can move on to the discussion question that we had briefly touched on last week. Going to talk about this week. I don't remember. Was this your idea, Modi, or yours?
So basically, no, it was mine. I saw someone tweet it, and I read it and initially kind of scoffed, like, oh, that's obvious. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, it's kind of an interesting discussion between Mobley and Paolo. So then I brought it up in our group chat, just like, what do you guys think? And then, so I don't have a strong take, and it isn't something that I've been like seriously considering myself. I literally just was like, oh, that's an interesting discussion, and that's why I brought it up. So that's kind of the impetus there.
I got a take, unless I was going to say if anyone wants to jump in.
Let's hear
I'd love to hear yours, Trantinos.
Well, I feel like when initially, just like especially watching the two players, you kind of think like, what do you value more as a GM, and how do you want to build your team? With Mobley, I feel like you get the edge, and like his spacing is really good on offense when it comes to pick and roll. He's always there for the lob. Like a lot of his points were coming from Garland and Mitchell driving, and him being able to go to the basket off a pick and roll and get a dunk. He can run the floor, which helps because Cleveland likes to push the ball, so you can get the ball up and down quick and then transition dunking that way too. A lot of this dude's shots are dunks. He has 11 attempts a game. 2 of them were 2-pointers. He's got a pretty good mid-range game. Kind of reminds me of like the Kevin Garnett bag from there. And then defense, the rim protecting and the blocking is huge too. But honestly, I'm taking Banchero like every time. He has the bag. He has the superstar potential. Just like he pops and flashes as a rookie. He has every move that you would want. And he's such like a big presence, still being able to switch on his handle. Honestly, he has a better handle than Jaylen Brown already in his career as a rookie. And just so many of his finishes, he gets in the post, gets a player like caught off guard, and then can just dunk. And he does that with having step back threes. A lot of his offense, when it is just generated by him bringing up the ball, he's really talented. I just think Banchero is the pick. I understand why you would want someone like Mobley. I think both players are great pieces to build a team around. But it seems like if you have like the Cleveland just has stellar guard play, which I think really helps Mobley and has helped him develop. And that's why he fits so well into the Cavs. But I'm excited to watch like Banchero. Like anytime Banchero is on the court, I think he's worth watching. Just superstar potential. But yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it depends on what you're looking for. Like if you're saying this person's going to be your third best player, I probably would take Mobley, just because I feel like he's so valuable. Like what he does literally he's like kind of reminds me of Bam, like incredible on defense, like has legitimate defensive player of the year potential. I worry that he just doesn't have much of a bag on offense besides being really athletic. And I don't want to put too much emphasis on this, but he was horrible in the playoffs offensively. Like the physicality just like clearly got to him. He was terrible. And like we don't know what Paolo's ceiling is, but his ceiling could be like number one scoring option on a really, really good team. And I just think that like that just is more valuable to me than someone, even though Mobley's defensive potential is like legitimately best in the league. If you're telling me like this is going to be your best player, I'll take the possibility that Banchero becomes like literally like a top 5 scorer in the NBA.
Yeah. So I guess, what you led with there, Modai, is what are you looking for? And I guess I'll ask you this because you're the one that brought the question up. Is this, who do you want right now? Who do you want to win a championship, or who do you want for their career?
So the way I interpret it is you don't have a roster and you're drafting basically, and like you're between these two players, and your goal is, and it's right now like further career. Like you're not getting them for one season. You're getting like year 4 of Mobley, I think year 3, in year 2
I think 3 of Mobley and then 2 of Banchero.
Okay, yeah. So you're getting year 2 and on from Banchero, and you're getting year 3 and on from Mobley, and you're a GM starting a new team. Is how I interpreted it. Obviously, it can be interpreted however you want. That was my interpretation.
Okay, fair.
What was my first?
Yeah, so
pick, I guess if I went point guard, maybe Mobley.
Yeah, I have two responses to that. Then I guess if I'm building a team out of like nothing, and I'm an expansion team, and I'm putting a team together, I'm going to pick Banchero. Like you can do more with him. He's more ready to go. He's more ready to be a number 1 option. You might not be a championship team, but you're going to at least be a good team, and he's going to be an entertaining player on that good team. If I'm building a championship roster with players that are already like a team that's already established in some way, I'm going to swerve a little bit. I'm going to go Mobley. I think he makes more sense for that. I think the NBA as a whole has devalued defense to such a degree that when you find really genuine potential transcendent defenders, whether it's a Bam or a Jaren Jackson or potentially Mobley or Giannis or whoever it might be, there are so few of those guys compared to the number of guys that can score 20 points per game at a relatively good efficiency that I'm going to lean into the defensive player, just because it's much harder to find those guys. If I had to like over their career, who do I think is going to have the better career? It's probably, although part of this is going to be tempered by they're the Magic, so I don't know if I trust them, but it's still probably going to be Banchero because I don't think I trust the Cavs all that much more. But if you said, who do I want on my team this coming year? It's for me, it's Mobley, because I think he gets them further right now, and he's more vital to their playoff success. Whereas Banchero is a couple years away from being a couple years away. As good as he is, I still think right now for me, it's Mobley.
I think if you it's just tough because obviously I really like Mobley too, but I think that like if you put Banchero instead of Bradley Beal, for example, like if he was just the scorer, I mean, I think like that's already like, yeah, the Suns are winning the title, no doubt. Because I think he can add that defensive element on a team where defense, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Mobley's on the Cavs, who have such a great team defense already. He slides into that perfectly. Magic aren't trying to win games. So it's like, Paolo Banchero is not going to play the greatest defense and team defense. So I think like he could probably utilize his defense on a different scenario and in a different place. But yeah, I kind of feel like you also just had a tall person bias. Got to pick the taller person. You're going to pick,
Mobley's barely taller than Banchero's 6'10".
That's crazy.
Yeah, like he's a Kevin Durant. You don't realize.
Fucking absurd. And I was looking at their numbers before we got on this. Granted, these numbers are probably not accurate anymore because I think it's their draft weights. Mobley was drafted at, I think, 205 or 215. Banchero's 250 or 260. Like, physically, Banchero is the more impressive guy.
It's like LeBron. I mean, he has that hesitation.
Banchero is built more like LeBron. That's exactly right.
He can change directions and has that hesitation move, but then has the step back 3 to like back it up and make defenders guard it. Like he is impossible to guard one-on-one. And it's like when I think he's going to then go up and shoot a floater or something, he's dunking on people. Yeah, it's crazy.
Mobley needs to put on weight. I did not realize how light he was.
Really, yeah, I kind of noticed that too. He gets all of his points from dunks, which he's amazing at doing it. But I know he could probably use a little bit more for rebounding too, just a little more muscle there.
Yeah, I mean, he got. Like,
I think part of the reason for the Kevin Garnett comparisons when Mobley does not have anywhere near the bag of Kevin Garnett is that they have similar builds.
Yeah,
even more so than like Durant and Garnett did. And I think Mobley has probably put on weight since he was drafted because the guys always do. They always do the 20-pound summer or whatever it is. Basically, they start getting on really good steroids. Let's call it what it is. But
I feel like that's really low. The DM just completely dunked on my take with this, but he said Mobley dunks on 24% of his field goals.
Well, what's the?
Which I feel like you think of a
I
center.
don't think that
like
is low. I think that's probably pretty good.
Well, yeah, DeAndre Jordan is like 50%, but he's the outlier.
Yeah,
Mobley can at least have a mid range. Like what's like Bam's? Like Bam would be my biggest my closest comparison between. Yeah, Boncaro.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Dunking on 24% means that's ones that you're not laying up. That's straight up just dunking.
Because I guess if you're also
your
laying
baskets
up,
is a ton. It's not just what's within 2 to 4 feet. It's straight up finishing at the rim. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
I imagine there's guys that are higher than that. There you go.
Bam was 13% in comparison.
Yeah, I think
DM, while you're looking this up, can you find what Giannis was?
I feel like comparing it to DeAndre Jordan is like he's like the biggest outlier, and like those Clippers years, he has to be close to 50%, if not higher.
I think Mobley will likely develop a much bigger bag than Jordan, but I mean, I'm sure people said that about Jordan earlier. Giannis, 16%. So yeah, 24% of your field goals is clearly a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Mobley already has more skills than Jordan ever had. Jordan was like just a rim runner. Like he couldn't shoot. Like his his free throws. He was always a terrible free throw shooter with this Clippers days. Yeah,
he had like 40% free throw. I think he was really bad.
Yeah,
he was Diet Coke Dwight Howard. He did a lot of the exact same stuff that Dwight Howard did, but he did all of it worse than prime Dwight Howard.
I mean, he was pretty. Prime Dwight Howard is an MVP though. Like DeAndre Jordan wasn't like awful.
He's a first team center.
No, I'm not saying he was bad. This is me saying that Dwight doesn't get credit for being as good.
I was gonna say I'm gassing up Dwight too. I think at his peak he was amazing as well.
Oh, absolutely, Dwight. Yeah. I think Dwight gets way too much hate compared to actually how effective he was.
Besides the assault thing, I don't know what happened there, but
we've talked about Dwight twice in 2 weeks. We gotta move past that. I don't know enough about that. We gotta move past that. But I mean, in terms of the one thing that DeAndre absolutely has over Dwight is locker room presence.
People like Jordan.
People like Jordan. He's been on teams for the past 6 years, not because he's still good at basketball, because he's not, but because people want him on their teams. Whereas Dwight Howard is probably still semi-decent at basketball, and no one wants him on their team, and they haven't wanted him on their teams for a long time.
Even when he was good, people could not stand him.
Look at what happened with that Rockets team with Harden when McHale was the coach. Like they couldn't stand each other. The team couldn't stand him. There was a playoff run in there where Dwight was arguably the best guy on the court, and I don't think he was on the team the next year. And it wasn't a money issue.
Yeah, a playoff run, best player on the court. Playoff run specifically, not the most impressive thing in the world when you're sharing the court with James Harden, but
at this point, this was like 2016. This was before Harden had the reputation that he does now. He was developing that reputation. I will absolutely say that. Yeah, but this was before we were all hating on him.
He was still bad. We didn't realize that playoff Harden was a thing yet.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll go Mobley. You guys go Boncaro, and we'll circle back in a decade and see who was most correct.
See who was right.
Or the way the NBA is now, maybe we'll circle back in 20 years because these guys might be playing to 40. Who knows?
DM, set a reminder for 8/2/2032 for our next episode.
But if the Earth is not on fire,
I was going to say, back to this. Yeah, let's hope that things are still alive.
Also, he mentioned that DeAndre Jordan did 60% of his shots were dunks in some seasons, which is crazy. Or 60% of his field goals.
That is just silly.
And I assume being 24 being a lot.
Dunks has to count lobs, right? Because I feel like we got to give Chris Paul credit for 30% of those.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way. That's an absurd number. That's so many.
That's ridiculous.
One more DM. Can you look up Rudy Gobert?
Oh God, yeah,
Ooh.
that's a good one. Although Rudy Gobert,
he doesn't generate enough offense to get us stats.
Rudy Gobert
had a bunch of seasons with like 18 points per game. Like he's definitely got some. What's my guess? I'm gonna guess Gobert.
I'm gonna go 50.
I'm gonna say 31.
48%.
5-0.
Fuck you.
I said that before you said yours. But you see the clips? Rudy Gobert stroking 3-pointers.
Damn, career average 40.8. Wow.
40.8. There you go. I think Ferentinos would have been the closest.
That's at 31. Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. I'm the closest. Like my dad.
Yeah. Price is Right rules.
Oh, good point.
Sure, if you want to. I don't know what we're winning for this. Maybe you're gonna get like a free dryer or something. All right. You guys want to move on to the Immaculate Grid? We'll bring Elliot back. We'll get the screen share going. We will try and figure out how to do this in a way that works for audio listeners as well. And we'll get that going.
Oh, Immaculate Grid, my favorite thing in the world.
All right. So I gotta be
all right. So how do we, for the audio listeners?
Yeah, Paul, before you guys start, do you want to explain the rules to anyone who might not know the rules?
Yeah. So if you're listening, not watching, this is going to be very difficult. But there are 9 squares, and there's 3 rows and 3 columns, and there's, I guess, the 3 columns are teams, and the 3 rows there's 2 teams. Oh, it's a row and a column. Did I say that opposite?
I don't know which one is horizontal or vertical. I guess
you're muted
too. And I work in Excel every day.
Me too.
Yeah. Suns, Mavericks, 5+ assists per game per season is columns. Golden State Warriors, Chicago Bulls, Milwaukee Bucks are rows.
All right. So basically, we need to find a player that played for the Suns and Warriors, Suns and Bulls, Suns and Bucks, which I already have 2 of those 3.
Okay.
Then we need to find a player: Mavericks, Warriors, Mavericks, Bulls, Mavericks, Bucks. And then we need to find a player that averaged 5 assists per game for a season that played for the Warriors. Same category for the Bulls. Same category for the Bucks. Did I say that correctly? Does that make sense? Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
that's right.
Just players for those, and then
it had to
5 assists.
It had to be when they played for that team. So like you can't say Chris Paul for the Warriors.
I've got 2 right off the top of my head. And you guys can tell me if you have better ones than this.
I think
I have 5.
Wow, you got 5. Okay. All right. So Warriors, Suns. Tell me if you have a better one than me for this one.
Obvious one is Kevin Durant.
See, I was going to say Kelly Oubre.
That's going to be way more. Yours is way more better.
The first one I thought of was Chris Paul, although I don't know if Chris Paul would count because he technically hasn't played for the Warriors yet.
The top banner: players acquired in the offseason won't qualify for their new team until they have appeared in a game.
Oh, I can't read that at all. I'm really glad you said that.
So Kelly Oubre is a great guess. That's a good one for Suns Warriors.
Oh, so this is current players too? Can't use historical players?
You can do historical.
You can.
Okay.
Kelly Oubre doesn't play for either of those teams. Oh, he's so fucking pretty.
5%.
What a headshot. What a headshot.
Oh my God. Let's get Rick Fox on the screen too while
He
we're
looks
at
like,
it. My God.
You guys know that meme of like the person who's like his mugshot, but he looked like a model?
Yeah,
like,
the really handsome mugshot guy.
Yeah, that's what Kelly Oubre looks like.
You're not wrong. And then the other one that I had, because you might have a better one than this, and then I'll let you do your 5. For the Bucks, for 5+ assists per game in a season, my man, the alien, Sam Cassell.
And you're confident in that because that's way more rare than I had. I had Drew Holiday definitely did it.
I think Drew's done it. Jason Kidd, no, he wasn't on the Bucks.
Not on the Bucks, yeah.
Giannis has done it. Yeah,
Giannis has definitely done it.
Giannis has done it.
What about like Eric Bledsoe? I don't know if he actually averaged 5 assists.
5.
Yeah. So goal is rarity. Step number 1 is that you're confident that they apply. If that's the case, then we go rarity. So like I know for a fact that both Drew and Giannis have. I don't know if that's Sam Cassell. He might have. I couldn't tell you.
To your point about Eric Bledsoe, though, he would work for Bucks and Suns as a player.
He would work for Bucks and Suns. I was thinking Torrey Craig. I don't know who would be more rare.
Torrey Craig is probably a better option than Eric Bledsoe
because he definitely played for both the Suns and the Bucks. I'm confident in that. All right, let's do Torrey Craig.
Let's get that in there. Let's save the 5 assists per game till later in case we blow some of these.
Yeah, that's it, Elliot.
There it is.
7%.
All right.
For the Bulls, Derrick Rose. He definitely averaged 5 assists
for assists per game. Did Heinrich ever average?
That's a good
5?
guess. I don't know, I don't know if like Jordan did.
Jordan definitely did. Scottie Pippen did.
5 assists. You think they both averaged 5 assists?
Different seasons, but yeah.
Yeah.
There was that 49 or 53 or whatever win season when Jordan retired and Scottie became the primary playmaker. I would think he probably did that, but
Heinrich, the Dungeon Master said Heinrich feels like a great guess. He probably did. You're right. He probably did. Like he was our point guard. He played for enough years. Like I know Derrick Rose did in his MVP year, but he's probably a more chalky pick.
Yeah. I'm a little worried now that I'm saying Heinrich. I also don't know how to spell his last name.
I think it's H-E-I.
Is it H-E-I-N?
I think so. We can also wait. Like I know Mavericks Bulls. I don't think a lot of people are going to get this. Rajon Rondo.
Rajon Rondo is a good one.
Magic Bulls. Like I think that's I remember when he got traded to the Magic, or not the Magic, the Mavericks. I was like, oh, that's a good trade. And then he was a total train wreck.
Oh, I had somebody for Bulls Suns a second ago, and now I'm blanking on it.
For Bulls Suns, did Jamal Crawford ever play for the Bulls?
I don't think so.
Because that was one. I had Tyson Chandler. He was Bulls, right?
Was he?
I think he was drafted by the Bulls because they drafted the Bulls went heavy, I think, on players out of high school. They drafted both him and Eddie Curry the same year in the draft. And they were both out of high school. And Eddie Curry just mentally wasn't there. But we can circle back. For this one's probably too chalky. Mavericks Warriors, Harrison Barnes. Can we find one that's a little more rare?
Mavs Warriors. Did
Monte Ellis?
Monte Ellis?
He definitely played for both. He definitely played for both.
Did Homeboy from the Wizards and the Warriors play for the Mavericks too?
JaVale,
Shaqtin' a Fool MVP. JaVale McGee.
That's a good guess. He feels like a Maverick, but I'm not confident in that.
He does feel like a Maverick though, right? He feels like a bad signing by the Mavericks at some point. He does.
JaVale McGee would have worked for Suns.
I think you're muted. Or we just can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
If Valentino's has been talking this whole time, we just can't hear him. That explains why it's been silent on his end.
I just thought he really had no guesses. I would check your mic settings because you're not muted on the thing, but we can't hear you. Nope.
Maybe unplug them and plug them back in. Maybe switch your Bluetooth around. This is really great audio for the listeners.
Leave and come back. For Mavs Warriors, I feel like Monte Ellis probably would be more rare, I would guess, just because he's older.
Let's do Monte Ellis. Unless Valentino's has somebody, and that's who he's really trying to tell us.
Kyrie
he might be trying to tell us somebody.
Kyrie? No, I'm just kidding. Type in the chat if you do. Yeah. Peja's good. Did he ever play for the Warriors?
I don't think so. Oh, maybe. Did he?
I don't
think if you think he did, I don't know.
I don't see unless you're 100% sure. Don't love the shrug.
He hit us with the shrug. He hit us with the
I say we do Monte Ellis would be my official guess, but I'm willing to be overruled.
Okay. Let's do Monte Ellis.
All right.
Did
21, not bad.
All right. Did Suns and Heat point guard. Did Dragic ever play for the Bulls?
Dragic is a good one. He did. Are you confident in that, Ferentinos?
I thought he had.
I didn't know that.
Ferentino seems confident.
All right, let's do it. I didn't know that, but he seems confident.
All right, Bulls Suns. Ferentinos, if you want to leave the room for a sec, you come back on, man.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't want to stress you out, buddy.
Nice. When was he on the Bulls?
Was he on with? He wasn't there during
the D Wade randomly when he was on the
D Wade
Bulls?
Jimmy era, was he?
Because he went from Suns to Heat. He was on the Heat for a long time, and then he kind of bounced around. Maybe it was post. Yeah, he was. I know he was on the Raptors. Like recently, he was on the Raptors.
All right, Mavericks Bucks. Let's finish out the two team ones.
Mavericks Bucks is hard. Like Wesley Matthews, did he ever play for the Mavs?
We can't hear you, Ferentinos. I hear you. I see you cussing, but I can't hear you. Here, I'm going to kick you. Try and rejoin. Oh, wait. He's still here.
You're back.
I didn't
You're back
actually remove him.
Oh. He was removed.
No
luck.
I can't hear you, buddy.
I think you have to just exit out and come back.
Yeah. Like close it entirely and figure it out and then come on back. And we'll just cut out. I'll try and cut out some of this.
Dungeon Master is almost positive he played for the Mavs. I also think he
Wesley Matthews?
Yeah.
That makes sense. He's a bounce around kind of guy.
He was on like the he was really good on Portland, and then he tore his Achilles. And then he's kind of bounced around from there. Like he was on the Bucks, he was on the Lakers. Maverick seems right. We can do Wesley
Let's
Matthews.
give it a shot. And if we're wrong, we're wrong. You know, that's part of the game. Not Russell Westbrook.
It's not Wesley.
It's Wesley.
Yeah.
It's Wesley.
There we go.
For the viewers that are listening to this on Spotify, he typed in Wesley as opposed to Wesley. He was there, and a lot of people picked him, so that sucks for us.
Yeah, all right. 20% is not bad.
Say it. For the Bucks, fucking Sam Cassell. Let's do this shit. I don't know if I'm right, but fuck it.
Risky business. We're 6 for 6 so far.
We can do the other two first. Sam Cassell absolutely played on the Bucks.
Did he get? No, I think he was talking about Wes Matthews. Are you confident that Sam Cassell had 5 assists in a season?
No, but I'm pretty sure he did.
All right, let's do it. 5%er. Let's go. Well done, Griffin.
Let's go. Your boy, he's still here.
That's a good one. For Bulls, I think Kirk Heinrich is good. I don't know how many people would guess Kirk Heinrich.
Let's try it.
All right, Ferentinos is back.
Oh, I know it's going to my phone, and it's way better than my fucking laptop.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Now we're sideways. Oh, there we go. There we go. Man, for the viewers watching this on YouTube, this is gonna give them like vertigo. Give them vertigo.
All right, let's do this.
Stop moving it.
This is better.
You look great, dude. You look great. Ferentinos, do you feel good about Kirk Heinrich for Chicago Bulls?
Let's go with Heinrich. I like that a lot.
All right.
Oh, I was wrong about the spelling.
Is it HIN?
Yeah, it's 13%. Let's go.
All right.
So
okay, last one. Warriors.
All right, so Steph 100% did it.
Is Chris Mullins the Warriors guy?
Yeah, but was he an assist? He was a center. He was a big man, right?
No, he was a guard. Or I thought he was a forward or something. He could have 5 assists a game.
What about Baron Davis?
Steven Jackson putting up 5 assists per game?
Steven Jackson, I don't know. But Baron Davis is also a pretty good guess. I feel like he definitely did it.
Yeah, huge. I was a huge
Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Huge Baron Davis.
Jason Richardson.
Jason Richardson's
White Chocolate?
Although he was a shooting guard, so probably not.
Dungeon Master you said Baron Davis was a fantasy stud?
I could see that.
I just worry, like, how many years did he play on the Warriors? I mean, he all he needed to do was 1 year. I just don't know what I know
his career.
Yeah, like he bounced around everywhere, and I know he tore his ACL at one point. I loved Baron Davis though. He was a huge Baron Davis fan.
Oh, I'm gonna be so bummed if we blow it on the last one.
Well, if we want to just 100% get it right, We could do Steph if we just want to not even risk it. Like Steph definitely averaged 5 assists, 100%.
I think Draymond has as well.
Draymond probably has. You're right.
I don't know. Dre puts up those 6'5'4" stat lines.
There was a period where Dre was good.
Where he was like
period is past.
Where he was like 8'6'5" instead of 6'5".
You guys remember his fucking Game 7 performance against the Cavs where he put up like 30, 10, and 10 or something?
Yeah, Game 7. Yeah,
that was literally every bit of offensive talent that he's ever had packed into one game.
Yeah, he was stroking from deep. He could not miss.
7 for 10 from 3.
Yeah,
that game is a blowout if Draymond Green isn't doing literally everything on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. All right. Can we do Baron?
Let's do Baron. Fuck it.
All right.
If we're wrong, we're wrong.
If he dies, he dies. All right. Baron Davis, official guess.
All right, DM, get that shit in there.
Oh, let's go.
Hey,
let's go.
Immaculate.
Let's
go.
114.
Immaculate. People often say that about us. What's a good score?
6.9.
114 is really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Damn.
So this is cool. You get to see the most popular.
Oh yeah.
I was chalk. All right. I was chalk as shit with my 5 assist ones. Ooh, Jason Terry.
You were also right that the obvious one for Warriors Mavericks was going to be Harrison Barnes.
Yeah.
And then you were also right about Bulls Mavericks with Tyson Chandler.
Who did we end up getting for that? Rajon Rondo, yeah.
Rajon Rondo.
No,
yeah.
I said Bulls. Was it for Bulls? Yeah, whatever.
I think so.
I think it was Bulls Suns, but it doesn't matter. Campaign, I don't remember him on the Bulls.
Well, that was a lot. I'm looking forward to continuing to do these because that was weirdly stressful, and hopefully we'll have good audio the entire time. Elliot, the DM, thank you so much for making that happen on the screen. To any of the audio listeners at home, hopefully by the time you listen to this, I've cleaned up the audio somewhat to cut out some of the dead spaces and us trying to figure out Ferentinos' mic. Anything you guys want to touch on before we get out of here? Are you ready to hit it?
I'm ready to hit it. I've been doing a replay of all the Pokemon games, starting with the OG Red. I beat that. Now I'm on to gold. Now I'm on to gold. So that's how I'll be spending the next couple of months.
You've got to stream this stuff, man. Like I want to tune in for your Pokemon streams.
Well, I do it on my Game Boy though, so I don't have like a ROM.
Get an emulator.
Just do a ROM. Maybe I will. I'll think about it.
And then you can do a full screen view, and you can do like 200% movement speed. You can do all that shit.
The movement speed's like a cheat code because you can like when you're grinding.
Well, 100%. Yeah, it's movement speed's the best. There's something that I was playing. There's like actual games now that like when they put like the 2.0 version of it, like Final Fantasy 12 has like a 300% movement speed that comes with the game just because they know how much time people are going to spend grinding.
Oh, that's cool. Hold your screen up to the webcam. I'm sure an old Game Boy Color put up to the screen.
People will love that. That's good content.
All right. I'll think about streaming it. If I can get more than one person to commit, so it's not just me and you, basically what we should just do on a Zoom call, I will.
That feels kind of romantic to me. I don't know. It feels like it's kind of upsetting to me that you don't want to do that now that it could just be you and I. But we'll talk about it off. We'll talk about it off pod. It's fine.
Maybe I'll do it in your Discord.
I'm sure we could turn it into a power hour. So
that's true. Also, Ferentinos would absolutely tune in to a Pokemon stream. What do you, Andrew Simon?
Andrew Simon. I was gonna say Andrew Simon definitely would.
Yeah, that's 3 viewers right there. You're already basically a Twitch affiliate. Let's go.
All right, I'll consider it. Drink every time. Yeah, we can make a drinking game out of it. That'd be fun. All right, we'll workshop this, and I'll decide.
Oh yeah, we'll talk off pod, and maybe we'll have something to announce next time in the next few weeks. I know you've got your Alaska trip coming up. We will have at least one pod, maybe two, where it's going to be Ferentinos, Elliot, myself, and we will be back same time, same place next Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We will see you then. If you are not following us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, make sure you go do so. If you're watching us right now or you're listening to us anywhere, if you have not clicked the follow button or the subscribe button, please do so. And we will see you next time.
Peace.